What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. We are back again. It has been a very, very long time. Since Monday, we haven't streamed for. I'm telling you now, my plate has been full of food. I am stuffed right now, ladies and gentlemen. And because of that fact, I've just haven't found the time to been able to stream, unfortunately. But we are back. It is Friday the 9th of August, 2024. Big up all the real ones in the building. Much appreciate every single one of you. Make sure we are hitting up the like button. We are here. We're going to be talking about Arsenal Football Club, as we usually do. We haven't been active, even though I've been off the scene for a minute. We haven't been active. Haven't really missed anything, have we, ladies and gentlemen? All we do know is Clair is a player at Arsenal Football Club, but we haven't seen anyone else follow in his footsteps. Surprisingly, Mikel Merino is allegedly meant to be the next player that Arsenal are going to be signing. We're closing in on that deal. So let's see what happens with that. And there's other players that we are going to be talking about, some Arsenal links, some non-Arsenal links. In fact, some players that have officially been signed, like John Clair Todibo. He has been signed by West Ham. Officially signed by West Ham. West Ham ain't playing, boy. They got that Declan Rice money. What do you think? What do you think, bloods? These men have got money to spend. And Todibo is an incredible young French centre-back. Played for Nice, was being linked with a move to Manchester United, a link with Arsenal and various other clubs. I actually wanted him at Arsenal because I thought he would be a great player to come in and, you know, rotate with a Saliba, with a Gabriel Magalhaes, but he's gone and joined West Ham. So we're going to look at that in further detail to see. Well, go on for that one. Big up Ashley, big up Adam in the building, big up Nort, big up Tabitha, big up Sergio. We've got Alfie in the building, Mad Miaz, big up my guy Trapstar, big up all the guys that are joining. Make sure we are hitting up the like button. Again, I do apologize for not streaming, but we are here. We are here. We're going to be switching up the schedule because I've got a lot of things going on at the moment, including obviously working on the new channel. So we're going to be switching up the schedule, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I get a confirmation on what I'm going to be doing with the times tables and stuff like that. But yeah, man, we're going to be back again doing reactions and all of that, even watch-alongs this season. I'm looking to put together some watch-alongs. I'm excited to do those. We haven't really done watch-alongs on the channel, but I'm going to start doing them. Anyway, what are we talking about first? Mikel Merino, that's the person I've got lined up first. No diddy. No, did he? So Mikel Merino to Arsenal Football Club. Is it happening? Yes, it does look like it is happening. Fabrizio Romano has given us the green light to say it's done and dusted, more or less. It's just the kind of final details being ironed out. And of course, it's the details that Edu is trying to solve. Edu always has a problem with these details, the structure of the deals, the incentives that come with the deals. Basically, you know, it's not you know, meeting what Real Sociedad's want. So we're trying to figure that out. It's been a few days, few weeks. In fact, I think on the last stream we were talking about Edu trying to figure out the structure of the deal. Weren't too sure what was going on there, but we're still here. Friday, the 9th of August, getting closer to the weekend. You know, well, the weekend is here, but we're getting closer to the Premier League starting. Is it next weekend? Is it next weekend? The 17th. Today's the 9th, the 17th. I mean, yeah. Next weekend, isn't it? Woo! The Premier League is back, ladies and gentlemen. We slapped up Bayer Leverkusen, of course. It was a lovely 4-1 victory to the Arsenal. No, did he? Yeah, it was good. It was good to see Ethan Nwaneri in that game. I know a lot of people were edging their credits towards Skelly, but Ethan Nwaneri just looked so electrifying in that game, bruv. The way he was getting on the ball, the movement, you know, he just looked like a senior player already, bruv. He looked like a senior player already. I'm telling you, this is the season where he's gonna be in a conversation with nearly every single other young player that's being spoken about. You're looking at, you know, Yamal and all these young players, you know, and rightly so. These are wonder kids, like the best young players on the planet, but I don't think these dons are going to be ready for what Ethan Nwaneri is going to be delivering, bruv. I swear to you, this guy is going to come out on the next thing. Apparently, Eddie is gone. He's not gone, not as far as I'm reading. We're gonna look at Eddie and Nketiah. As far as I'm reading, Marseille are willing to come in with another bid, and look, they're really kind of leaning towards their initial approach, their initial proposals that they made. It wasn't the money that Arsenal were asking for. And then they're also being linked with Wahi, Elhi Wahi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. 45 million or 35 million for him. You know, if they can't come to an agreement with Eddie ASAP, they'll move on to Wahi. They'll get him done. He wants to move to Marseille. In fact, the latest reports coming out suggest that he has confirmed he personally wants to join Marseille. So that could lead Marseille towards forgetting all about Eddie and moving on to him. He's a French proven player as well. He's scored a bunch of goals in that league already. They rejected the Wahi deal. Marseille did. I'm not too sure, but we'll obviously get there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll definitely get there. Make sure we are hitting up the likes. Pick up all the guys that are joining. We've got Victor Eucharist in the building as well. Are you joining us? Is Victor Eucharist going to be joining Arsenal Football Club? I mean, at this moment of time, I don't think we are going to be signing anyone else. Maybe if Eddie Nketiah does leave, we'll sign a replacement. There is a potential player that we're looking at, a Brazilian player, 16 years old. I mean, it doesn't fill me with joy, to be quite fair. No, did he? But like, what are we doing? Are we going to go out there and sign a clinical striker, or are we just going to be relying on Jesus and Kai Havertz? I think that's what Mikel Arteta is leaning towards at this moment in time. The Wahi U is good. Last season he was doing bits. Yeah, man, he scored against us. I'm pretty sure he did when we initially played Longe in the Champions League last season. I know we battered them, obviously, but I'm pretty sure he scored against us. All very, very well. Adam, big you up, my guy. Big you up. Big up H in the building as well. Big up all the guys that are slowly but surely joining the channel. So yeah, man, Mikel Merino. Let's talk. What's this telling us? So Arsenal are expected to close the deal for Mikel Merino in the coming days. The player is waiting for a move of his life. Oh my God, a move to Arsenal is the move of his life. Moreno's camp are hoping Real Sociedad negotiate well and they don't exceed a 25 million valuation for the midfielder. Now that's according to this guy called Mikel, whatever his name is. Yeah, I don't know who he is, but that's what he's saying. But a lot of the reports are kind of leaning towards the structure of the deal, not necessarily the valuation. I think Arsenal have met the value. 25.5 million is what they've agreed, but it's about now how they're going to pay that 25 million or that 25.5 million. How are Arsenal going to pay it? According to some of the more reliable sources, there is a stumbling block there. That they are not happy with maybe the upfront cost that Arsenal are willing to pay, or maybe some of the the payments are unrealistic. I mean, we've been told that in the past as well, but there's a stumbling block just on the structure of the deal. So we can only assume at this moment in time it's to deal with how much money they're willing to pay up front. But it could be any one of those things. It's a wild assumption. It could be any one of those things. But let's see what happens. I mean, okay, clearly we're going to get this one done. Clearly, the figures are there. We've agreed to the actual price, the value. It's just the structure of the deal. They are taking this long, so there's no excuse. We didn't have time to make any more signings. Yeah, I mean, I told you guys earlier on in the window that don't expect massive signings this summer. Don't expect it because of the finances. The focus has to be to get rid of, players that we have that we're not going to be using. We're looking at the ESR deal. ESR looks like a bargain. When you're seeing Conor Gallagher, how much did Conor Gallagher go for? I think it was 50 million. Did Conor Gallagher go for 50 million? Let me double check. I see him with the shirt. 35 million. So 35 million, bro. Atletico tried to pull out of the 35 million move for Chelsea's striker midfielder. But the final figure, it says here 35 million. So when you're looking at what we got for ESR, bro, that is massive. That's a massive deal. Conor Gallagher was integral to Chelsea last season. And when we say integral, he played in nearly every single game. Every single game. ESR has been non-existent for 2 years. We got 34 million for him. Them way there. I just peeped another loan deal. No sell for Nketiah. Why can't we sell anymore? If it's a loan, then it has to be with some form of option that kind of leans towards the value that Arsenal wanted initially. But I told you it's going to end up coming to this, having to loan a player out. And the same with Ramsdale. Like, who's interested in Ramsdale? There's reports coming out this morning to suggest that Wolves are the team interested in Ramsdale. Wolves, bruv. Wolves, bruv. Come on, man. Come on, man. Aaron Ramsdale's career is in tatters. It's an obligation to buy. Let's look at this. Let's move on to Eddie Nketiah. Let me quickly find out what's going on with Eddie. So yeah, Mikel Merino closing on this. We're closing on this one. It does look like he will be the next signing. Will there be any more after that? Remains to be seen. I guess it depends on how many more players we can sell this summer. And that's been the priority for Arsenal, selling players. No option but an obligation. Okay, so we're going to look at what's being said about Eddie Nketiah. Bear with me for 1 second. Let me get this all up on the screen. So we've got Eddie latest news. Okay. Eddie Nketiah, loan with an obligation. How much is that obligation? I would like to know. Okay, so we've got a breaking news from David Weinstein 32 minutes ago. Arsenal ready to sanction Eddie Nketiah exit from Marseille. Proposed deal is a long loan plus buy obligation in the region of 13 million euros. Personal terms for 25-year-old striker agreed on a 5-year contract. Ball now in Marseille's court to decide if to proceed or not. So it's kind of like an ultimatum one, I think this one is. Like, like we've been kind of haggling for a couple of weeks with Eddie, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The incompetence is at its finest. And of course, Arsenal want to try and get as much money as they can. They have to deliver on a financial target of player sales that is clear as day. So they need to kind of get as much money as they can. And 34 million for ESR, a couple other million for a few other players there, just isn't going to cut it, even though the ESR deal was seen as kind of successful in terms of, I think, you got a good deal there, especially when you compare it to Conor Gallagher and various other deals that have taken place for a player that hasn't even played for 2 years. 34 million is pretty awesome. But they're trying to hold out for as much as they can for Eddie. The 50 million fee, delusional. No one was coming in for 50 million. 40 million, no one's coming in for 40 million. 30 million, they're even are in at 30 million. But Arsenal, I mean, based on what we're reading and based on what we're hearing, it doesn't seem like Arsenal are willing to lower that 30 million. They want somewhere in the region of 30 million, maybe 25 million pounds can get there. If we're talking about 30 million euros, that has to obviously looks about 26.5 million pounds. So based on what I'm saying here, it could be, they could be thinking along these lines. That they need to get at least 25 million for Eddie Nketiah. So this could be an ultimatum. It's kind of like obligation, loan him, because a part of this could be where Marseille don't have the money because of other commitments that they do have, financial commitments. They really want Eddie, but in saying that can't be an issue if they're looking at Wahi. But then someone said in the chat that they've pulled out of Wahi, so maybe it's too much money for them. So now Arsenal are like, all right, cool. Let's come to a compromise. Let's take him on loan, but you need to kind of give us something. You need to kind of give us what we want. We're helping you. We're helping you by giving you the loan, but you need to help us by giving us the 27 or 28 million that we want at the end of it. So interesting scenes. I mean, the most positive thing that we can get out of this is that Eddie Nketiah is going to be leaving. This fraud is going to be leaving, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, Arsenal have been able to ship off some dead wood. You've only got Reece Nelson left, and maybe one or two other names can be thrown in that hat, but Eddie Nketiah is going to be leaving. Who is going to be replacing Eddie Nketiah? Alhamdulillah. Come on. Who is going to be replacing Eddie Nketiah? That's the question. Are we not going to replace him? Are we going to bring in some young player to replace him? This Brazilian player that's being linked with a move to Arsenal. In fact, let's move on to this Brazilian player. It's been published a few days ago that Arsenal are going to put a 25 million pound bid down on this Brazilian 16-year-old. 25 million, There are other stories that have come out since this report, kind of throwing water on the fire to suggest that it's not entirely true. Let me quickly find it. Where are we? Where are we? Okay, so Arsenal will send a proposal worth 25 million. Here we go. Arsenal will send a proposal worth 25 million plus bonuses to International for the 16-year-old attacking midfielder Gabriel Carvalho this week. This week in capital letters. This is published by Inter Timeline, exclusive. I don't know who Inter Timeline are. Translate BO. I mean, they look like probably some sort of Brazilian publication, bringing you the latest updates, stats, quotes, team news, and transfer news from International. So it's translated. Yeah, so these guys are Brazilian. International is a Brazilian team. Used to be one of the teams I used to go to and raid on Football Manager because they used to have loads of wonder kids. But this guy, again, I can't really voice an opinion on how qualified this young man is, but it is suggesting that Arsenal are going to put a 25 million bid on the table for him. Now, it has been confirmed by his agent, however, that the reports that are being published by these dons are fabricated. 24 hours ago, it was published by the Daily Cannon. What they're basically saying here is if this is going to work, it's going to be a bit wild. Augusto Nogueira, the Brazilian agent of wonderkid Gabriel Carvalho, has rubbished recent reports suggesting an imminent 25 million euro bid from Arsenal for his 16-year-old client. So imminent means it's on route any moment now. Like, but it could mean like he could be rubbishing that, and it could be something in the pipeline for the end of the window, or something that could be in the pipeline for next summer. We never know. This guy is only 16 years old. We do know that there's going to be a transfer budget for the younger players, or for the academy, shall I say, whereby Per Mertesacker is going to sit down with the coaches and they are going to figure out what players they're going to be signing. I mean, that's what they do anyway, but they're going to have a financial budget that's bigger than they've ever had before. And that's going to enable them to sign like proper wonder kids. So this guy here, you know, whoever he is, he could be one of those guys that they're looking at, and there could be a 25, 20 million, 18 million, something along those lines type of budget being spent on one player. Who's this guy on the screen just popped up? What's it saying here? Earlier this week, the Brazilian outlet International Timeline reported that Arsenal were set to make a substantial offer for Carvalho. The story gained significant traction, especially in Brazil. However, Nogueira's empathetic denial has seemingly put those rumors to rest. At least for now, with Carvalho recently signing a new contract with International until 2028. The Brazilian club is under no pressure to sell their prized asset. You know what? I was looking at this. Yeah, I was looking at this player, and I don't know why. I just saw Mbappe, bro. I don't know if you guys can see it as well. Is he going to be the next Marquinhos? Is he the next Martinelli or Marquinhos? I mean, we haven't even seen the best of Martinelli yet. So hopefully, this is the season where Martinelli just does a mad thing. You know, like I want to see 15, 20 GA plus from Martinelli this season. So I don't even think we've seen the very, very best of Martinelli yet. But you know, you could question whether this could be a Marquinhos. What's going on with Marquinhos? He's back over at Sao Paulo on loan, I think he is. Or I think they've made that deal permanent. Waste of money for Arsenal. Either way. So could this be one of them? He does look like Richarlison as well. To be fair, the Brazilian guys, and maybe it's just the football players, the guys that make it in the football world, a lot of them look the same. Like there's cunning resemblances between a lot of these dons. Who was it? Who had even Robinho? There were so many dons that looked like Robinho. There were so many guys that looked like who else has got one of those looks? Like Robinho is definitely the look, the Brazilian look. There's bare looking Robinhos, I swear to you. What's happening with Mourinho? It's stalling like Carvalho deal. Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, we're close. It's just the structure of the deal that we're trying to iron out. It's down to Edu, more or less. It's down to Edu. Clearly, Real Sociedad are not happy with certain, certain terms, so they're just trying to find out how they're gonna sort those details out. They say Endrick looks like young Pepe. He does actually. Saying that, you guys are right. He does look like a young Pepe, bro. Pele. Sorry, what am I saying? Pepe, Pepe. He does look like a young Pele. I see that. I was on Facebook and I see someone put a picture side by side a little while ago, and I was like, bro, he does look like Pele. Remember, it's a small country, man. There's, you know what I mean. Victor Eucharist Wax. Our boy is on his way to the carpet, fam. Sell Eddie's bumper clock. Listen, I don't know, man. I really don't know if Eddie is on way. Like, is he really on way? Eddie. But what am I thinking? Let me drink some of this coffee, bro. This is my first coffee of the day, so just bear with it. I don't know if Victor Eucharist is on way, en route. Like, I really don't know, man. Unless Arsenal pull out some surprise last minute deadline day, like, you know what I mean? Like, have us all standing outside the stadium just counting down the timer. One of those Mesut Ozil settings. It could be Mesut Ozil 2.0. Mesut Ozil 2.0, the way they kind of announced this. You know, I haven't seen that kind of atmosphere for ages, even just for any other football club. You know, when the reporter standing outside and he's gassing man up, counting down the hours. So yeah, it could be one of those. It could be one of those. You never know. Big up my guy Zeke says, Wax, you called it ages ago, saying we have to sell players before we can buy. Now other channels are saying the same thing, like really 200 million war chest. Yeah, I told you, man. I told you, 200 million war chest, man. Trust me, they were just gassing up the thing. I knew there was no 200 million pound war chest. I knew this from January. I was telling you, man, this in January. Everyone was telling me, no, Wax, trust me, we're gonna save all of the money. We're saving all of the money from January so we can go into the summer and spend it. What? And all we've done up until the 9th of August is pull out Calafori, a 35 million pound player. And you thought we were saving all that January money to go in. Get out of here, bro. If anyone understands how accounting works and how business works and how the finances behind business has to work, if you would have been paying attention to the amount of money that this project itself has already spent, then you wouldn't be delusional enough to believe that Arsenal are going to go and spend another 200 million this summer. Oh, but Wax, we've got Champions League and we got to the quarterfinal. But at the same time, you know, you can't blame them. They follow accounts that will just mislead them and misguide them. Do you know what I mean? And manipulate the way they think, feel, and believe. I don't do that. I just tell you what the real thing is, and that's what you're gonna get here, blood. If it's an opinion, I'll tell you it's an opinion. If it's a fact based on, you know, evidence that people have, then it's a fact, bro. It's a fact, and the numbers don't lie. The project hasn't lied. That we've spent over $1 billion on the project, so there has to come a point where the owners say, I need a return on investment. Where's my ROI? You know what I mean? You would kind of alleviate some of the pressure if you would have delivered the Premier League title. If that Premier League title would have been delivered this summer, and we didn't finish second, and we delivered that Premier League title, I don't think at this point we would have only signed Calafori. We would have signed a few other dons, and we wouldn't have had to worry so much about selling players as much as we do now. But it still would have been a part of the process. Don't get it twisted, because we haven't sold any players. We need to continue to generate the ROI from player sales. But I'm talking about alleviating some of that financial pressure. You know, we couldn't win the Premier League, so now Edu, you need to sell players. If you can't sell players, my brother, then woof, pressure is on. But like I said, this is the summer where Edu needs to deliver, and this is the season where Arteta needs to deliver. Let's see what happens, man. If Jordan Ibe can be sold for 20 million, then Eddie Nketiah should be at least 30 million. Oh, man. Big up Simon. Wax is the ITK. Come on. Yeah, but maybe we have the money, but we can't spend it with the regulations. No, of course. This is what I said before, Tobias. I said, listen, the project is in debt, not the club. The football club's not in debt. The project that Mikel Arteta and Edu are deploying, that's in debt, because you've spent so much money to do whatever you wanted to do with this project, but you haven't given us an ROI. And you haven't given us an ROI on trophies to help alleviate some of the financial pressure, but you also haven't sold players. If you're not selling players, bro, that's going to be so detrimental to the financial budget in the future. Because how are we going to continue to keep balance in the books? We can't continue to keep balance in the books because these guys ain't selling players. They're terminating contracts and letting players run down their contracts. So eventually that's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And that's exactly what it's done this summer. But, fortunately for us, Arsenal are still in a great position financially. And we as a team, in terms of like performance-wise, are doing exactly what we need to be doing. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, there are players that there's positions that we need to fill, and there are ways that we can fill those positions. Now it's just down to the people that are driving this bus, Edu, to make those right decisions. Do you know what I mean? If he had a clear plan in place, I would have told you by now, Eddie and Nketiah and all these guys would have been gone. They'll have been gone. Even if the theory that people had, that, oh no, Wax, you had to wait until the 31st of June or the 29th of June. I mean, that rule applied to Chelsea, Aston Villa, Everton. It was really applying to them. Of course, it applies to everyone, but it all depended on how you kind of balanced your books up until that point. Those teams that I just mentioned, they were in dire need of selling players because the consequences were going to be crazy, right? So they had to kind of rustle up a plan. But Arsenal could have also had a plan in motion whereby as soon as that time had passed, you're selling players. They had Lokonga, Nuno, all of those dons at the door at the beginning of July. Their man was gone from quite early. So I thought, maybe these guys have got a point. Maybe these guys do have a point. But clearly there was no plan in place for Eddie. ESR was a kind of an and R1, wasn't too sure. And that's what I think it's been down to. The manager and the sporting director not having a clear plan because they've been unsure on what they want to do with certain players, as well. So, and then you've got to think the players that we've been left to sell, they're not really that value. They're not really that high of value. Eddie Nketiah is not really that much money. ESR, 34 million for him. Amazing. You know what I mean? But the players that we've been left to sell are not really high of value. And this is the reason I was saying to you guys weeks ago, if Arsenal really mean business and Arsenal really want to get out of this hole and really want to significantly improve what we're doing over here, then it might come with a massive sacrifice. You might have to go and sacrifice Martinelli. You might have to go and sacrifice, I don't know, someone else, Zinchenko, whoever it is. But, they've opted not to do that. They don't want to sacrifice Zinchenko. They don't want to sacrifice Martinelli. And I think most of us wouldn't want to do that anyway. But because of the decisions that they made, that would have had to, or that could have been the only decision that we were left with. The only choice we were left with was to sacrifice one of those dons in order for us to have enough money to say, all right, cool. Now we can say, bam, let's go and get that striker that we need. Do you want Victor Gyökeres? Let's go and get him because we just sacrificed Martinelli. We've just sold Zinchenko. Bam. 2 players off the wage bill. That brings us in Victor Gyökeres. You know what I mean? And that could have been the way. And I'm telling you, if Arsene Wenger was here, those decisions probably would have been made. Now, some people are going to say, yeah, but look, we haven't had to make those decisions, and we haven't had to take away from the team. But we still haven't actually signed anyone other than California at this point. And there is nothing really out there concrete other than this Mikel Merino one that's suggesting we're going to be signing the players that we actually wanted to sign in the first place. So, yeah, them sacrifices might have had to been made, but they might not have had to been made. We'll see how this season goes, isn't it? This is the summer where we make that determination. This is the season when we are able to make that determination. Will Mikel Arteta be able to deliver us the Premier League based on the squad that he's got, based on the players that he has brought in this summer? You know what I mean? That's it. ESR, Nketiah, Nelson, Ramsdale, Cedric, El Neni, Tierney, Tavares, Lokonga, Zinchenko, Jesus, Partey, all should have gone and wouldn't have made any difference to us. So look, I think Jesus is a harsh one. I wouldn't have sold Jesus. Everybody else on that list, I agree with. Jesus, I would have kept. I would definitely keep Jesus, unless we were left in desperate, dire need, whereby we had to just, yeah. But I would keep Jesus. Everyone else that you've mentioned, I would sell. Partey's not going anywhere. I don't think Partey is going to be sold. Zinchenko is definitely staying. He's been given a new number. Lokonga's gone. Tavares is gone. Tierney's still here. Tierney hasn't he hasn't been involved in any of the friendlies. I think he's injured. Who else you mentioned there? Cedric's gone. El Neni's gone. Ramsdale, obviously, probably going to be a last-minute panic loan for Arsenal's perspective anyway. Whoever signs Ramsdale, it's probably going to be a Wolves. It's probably going to be a team that's mid-table, kind of swinging relegation or some shit like that. And whatever team sign him at that bottom half of the table, they're going to be happy with it. But for Arsenal, it's a slap in the face. It's a big, massive loss, because this is a player that we signed for 30 million. This is a player that we could have sold for 50 million last season if you would have just grown some balls and told Ramsdale what it was. Do you know what I mean? You decided not to grow balls and tell Ramsdale what it was. You allowed some havoc to be created. Havoc, my man went online. Dad was online. Everyone's online crying about Ramsdale. It just literally went tits up. And the moment it went tits up was the moment the valuation of Aaron Ramsdale got destroyed. It got destroyed. You literally went and played roulette, and you showed everybody your cards at the table and said, yes, I'm not going to win. Yeah, everybody, you're going to win. You're going to win. You, man, are going to win. That's what you're going to do. So that's the position that Arsenal find themselves in, whereby teams are like, all right, cool, we'll sit here. No one's in desperate need for a goalie. Like, you're looking at the teams in the Premier League. Tell me who's really in desperate need for a goalie other than Arsenal. Can you imagine that we're still in desperate need of a goalie? Can we say that David Raya is going to be the actual answer? Is he going to be a consistent Premier League winning goalie? I don't know, man. I'm not optimistic about that. So we can still say that Arsenal are in need of a goalie, a real qualified elite number one goalie. Some people might argue that, but Ramsdale, no one's in need of a goalie, really, if you think about it. So now that just also leaves Ramsdale on the shelf. Ramsdale's going to be sitting on the shelf. His price is just going to be ticking down. It's going to be like one of those, when you go into like B&Ms, you go B&M shopping and you go in there and you see, man, it's just put on the side. This little ornament's been put on the side. It used to be like $29.99. Now it's $12.99. Then it's got another sticker on it saying you can pick it up for $4.99. That's Ramsdale. That's the settings that Arsenal have put Ramsdale in. I'm telling you, but it's got like 3 stickers on it. 3 different style stickers. It's not even a joke. These men just keep decreasing the value of this product, bruv. So, and then sooner or later, it's going to be a desperate one where Arsenal are going to be the ones that panic, get desperate, and say, all right, cool, loan with some 25 million buy option. And it's just a loss. And when you think about that scenario that you find yourself in there, it makes you question the sporting director. You have to question the sporting director, because if he knew that Arteta was going to do this to Ramsdale, then bro, you had to get rid of Ramsdale last season, blood. Man's on reduced to Clair, cuz. That's what I'm saying. He's in home sense. You go in home sense, bruv. They got like 30 different stickers on them where they just keep reducing the price. Oh, it's crazy. It is crazy, bro. We could have got, I swear to you, last summer, we could have 100% got 50 million for Aaron Ramsdale. 110%. But we didn't. We didn't. Goalkeeper of the season, man. Goalkeeper of the season in the Premier League, bro. Like, it made no sense. It made no sense. 60 million for Emil Smith-Rowe and Eddie Nketiah combined. You've proved your doubters wrong. And that's what's being published by some people online with Edu, about Edu, obviously. Yeah, I still need more delivery. Yeah, I still need him to deliver. Mikel Arteta done some interesting stuff as well, man. He hired professional pickpocketers. What? This guy hired professional pickpocketers while the Arsenal team were eating, and these guys went around and literally wrapped up every single player. Every single player found they had something missing from their pockets. And the idea of the exercise was to keep them aware and to keep them focused and to keep them blah, blah, blah. Interesting exercise. Interesting exercise. Another player that Arsenal have been linked with, ladies and gentlemen, is Boniface. Now, we've been linked with Boniface for quite some time, in fact. You know, he's coming out recently suggesting that he is an Arsenal fan. He has been an Arsenal fan his whole life. So if there's any club on the planet that want to sign, that he wants to sign it, that he would sign for, it would be Arsenal. This is embarrassing. Are we talking about the pickpocketing thing? Oh no, we're talking about the Ramsdale thing. Clearly, that's close to the Ramsdale comments. Yeah, I mean the Ramsdale situation is definitely embarrassing. The pickpocket is extremely interesting. The pickpocketing thing's mad. He hired professional pickpocketers. I didn't even know what is there. How can you have professional pickpocketers, bruv? What is this? Are you telling me that Mikel Arteta is just on the streets, blood? He's on the streets. He went to the Spanish streets and picked up some pickpocketers and brought them back to the ends. He went to Barcelona. There's bare pickpocketers in Barcelona, guys. If anyone goes to Barcelona, just be careful when you're out there. There is a bag of pickpocketers, yeah? I was watching a documentary the other day and it was based in Barcelona, like bare pickpocketers in Barcelona. So, yeah, guys, if you find yourself in Barcelona, be careful. And Mikel Arteta's probably been out there on the prowl, bringing in these dons. Like, yo, come over. I need you to come and pickpocket Martin Odegaard's. Come, we've got Saka. Saka's got some jewelry. Go and take it. I don't know what Mikel Arteta was thinking. That is crazy. It's crazy. Oh, man. Oh, imagine Allison or Costa or Courtois behind our defense. Exactly. Proper goalkeepers. Proper goalies, bro. Proper goalies. But yeah, man, David Raya, you know, he's a backup. He's a backup goalie, David Raya. With all due respect to him, big him up. Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't want to disrespect. I don't want to be disrespectful to him, but he's a backup goalie, man. We can be real about that, innit? Come on, don't want to be delusional and say, oh no, actually, he's one of the best goalies in the world. Wax. He won goalkeeper's glove of. He won clean sheets, the most clean sheets. Goldie's the Golden Glove, right, for 15 clean sheets. The last person that won the Golden Glove, I'm pretty sure they won it by 23 clean sheets. Who was that? I think it was us. Who was that? Where did I see that again? I can't remember, man. The last goal, I think it was the last thing. It was 23 clean sheets, I'm pretty sure it was. Can't remember who it was. They found Haaland in Saliba's pocket. They definitely did. And Mbappe. They was all there. Messi was there. The whole gang was there. They couldn't believe it. They actually put them back in. They said, oh, yeah, you man belong in there. You man belong in there. Stay in there. Where did he find the pickpockets from? That's what I'm saying. How can you hire professional pickpocketers? How is there such a thing called professional pickpocketers? I don't know. I don't know. These people have to be from the streets, bro. There is no course out there. There's no, you know what I mean? There's nothing out there that you can get yourself involved in whereby they can teach you how to be a professional pickpocketer. Come on, bro. The guys from the streets. The guys from the streets. He picked those guys up from the streets. He was on the train. He was on the train with them dons in Barcelona. He said, bro, I got a job for you. Come. I got a job for you. It doesn't make any sense. I can't even believe they published that shit. Obviously, I understand the reason why they're, you know, but listen, it is crazy. It is crazy. Arteta is definitely connected to those Spanish streets, bro. Them Spanish streets ain't a joke anyway, bro. I'm telling you. Anyway, Victor Boniface being linked with a move to Arsenal, but I don't think anything's going to happen here. I don't think Arsenal are going to be signing a striker. They're not. I don't. If they're going to sign a striker, it's more likely to be some young player that's going to come and replace Eddie Nketiah. Kai Havertz is going to be the main number 9. Jesus is also going to be that main number 9, rotating with him. So I don't expect anything other than that. Arsenal have accelerated negotiations to sign Galatasaray winger Baris Albert Yilmaz, 24 years old, with details of a potential agreement being discussed. Arsenal will pay 20 million euros for the player, and this is according to these guys via Sports Witness. Now, I'm not too sure how true this is. I'm not too sure. I'm not even too sure who this player is. Now, I thought the only Turkish player we were linked with was Ferdi Kadioglu, blood. And now we're being linked with this Don Yilmaz. You know, this is not even the striker. Yilmaz. Bro, I don't know what Arsenal are doing. I don't know what Arsenal are doing, man. Obviously, that Yilmaz, the striker, is obviously about 37 years old or some shit, so it wouldn't be him. But who are we? Who are we trying to sign? Who are these dons here, bro? Does anyone know who this guy is? Can someone comment down below and let me know? Same place they found Edu. He's been stealing a living for years. Now it's right in front of our faces. Oh man, these guys, they are wax. They have faith. Have faith, my guy. Are they busy? Are they busy trying to get deals done? Yeah, they're gonna get us some big boy players. They're gonna get us Victor Eucharist, because I see some guys in the chat optimistic still. I think that optimism died for me a couple of weeks ago, bruv. Seriously, man. Like you don't take this long to get your marquee signings done. You don't take this long. You know, you don't. You know, and I know I tried to justify it the other day, but I didn't even justify it. It's just kind of looking at the possibilities. You know, whether we believe in it or not is a different story, bro. But you know, and the justification that I made was basically, again, I was just looking at it from as a possibility. Is that Arsenal had already spoken to these dons. These dons already gave Arsenal the green light and said, "Yep, we're coming to you. No one else is. We're not signing for anyone else. I don't care who comes in." So therefore, you know, it doesn't matter when Arsenal put the money down. Arsenal will sign them. It could be the last day of the season, the last day of the window. Sorry, it could be the last week of the window. It could be any one of those days. But that's only because Arsenal already have that agreement in place. You know what I mean. So, you know, I don't know now. I don't know. I really don't know. Right winger, Turkish international, very average, has pace, but with no end products. Big up Mr. Robbo. Yeah, no, I'm not overly familiar with this guy, man. His name rings a bell, but I'm pretty sure they've had a few guys with that name in it. So I'm saying, man. Let me actually see if there's anything with Victor Eucharist. I haven't seen anything on social media with Victor Eucharist, like nothing new, nothing whatsoever. I've only got about 5 minutes left of me, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure we are hitting up the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are newly watching the channel. Big up all the new subscribers, in fact. Even though we haven't been streaming on this channel, we've been gaining new subscribers. I think they're coming from the Wax Unfiltered channel as well, though. So big up all the guys on that channel, man. We are literally on the verge of hitting 20k on the Wax Unfiltered channel. 20k in just about a month. In 1 month, imagine that. In 1 month, we're just about doing a 1 month anniversary on Wax Unfiltered, and we have hit 20k. When we started doing the content that we're doing at the moment on that channel, we was only on about 300 subscribers. It's grown massively. And the TikTok as well, man. Big up my brother on the TikTok. He's been managing the TikTok, done extremely well over there, man. Gone from like 57 followers to like nearly 2,000 in a space of like 2 to 3 weeks. Victor Eucharist, that's who I'm looking at here. Arsenal seem to have decided on the striker to sign between Victor Eucharist and who? I mean, that's 2 days ago. Haven't heard anything. Not even going to click into that. Arsenal target 84 million goal machine, who's way better than Solanke. That's what I wanted to talk about. So before we end this, actually, let's talk about the players that are being linked with a move away, to other clubs in the Premier League. So I'm just going to quickly go here. We're going to go to these guys. I'm just going to look at the other transfer rumors. So obviously I know Todibo has signed for West Ham. Official. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that. He has signed for West Ham. Then you have various other players. So many names going around at the moment. That guy that we were being linked with, Willian Pecao. Let's switch over here. Willian Pecao, he has joined PSG. Now, this is a good player, a centre-back that we were being linked with earlier on in the window, heavily being linked with this guy. But he's signed for PSG now till 2029. PSG have their deal done. Norwich midfielder Jonathan Rowe is being courted by Marseille. He's actually a good player, you know, this Jonathan Rowe, especially on Football Manager. He's a blatters. Danny Olmo, he joins Barcelona. That seemed inevitable the moment he performs in the Euros. Marseille are not ready to pay 30 million euros for Eddie Nketiah. Talks will continue with Arsenal over the fee. That's according to Fabrice Hawkins, published 35 minutes ago. Manchester United have initiated official contact with Mario Hermoso, who is a free agent. Hermoso is asking for a salary of $6 million a year on a 3-year deal. Okay, I'm not overly familiar with who he is, but he clearly played for Atletico Madrid. Brighton have held another meeting with Ferdi Kadioglu and the representatives of the player after offering 35 million for the left back. So it doesn't look like Ferdi Kadioglu is going to be leaving Fenerbahce after all, but he's not going to be joining Arsenal. He's going to be joining Brighton or somebody else. So let's see if Arsenal decide to jump in the race for that. Well, they won't. After signing Calafiori, I can only assume that left back position or any defensive position from here on out is going to be off. We're looking at central midfield and we're looking at attackers. Has to be. Arsenal are willing to sanction Eddie Nketiah's exit. We've already gone through that. Tottenham are on the verge of signing Dominic Solanke. They've tried to reach out to Ivan Toney as well, but I don't think Ivan Toney wants to join Tottenham. He knows they're a loser club. He knows. He's not stupid. I think he really is getting his agent to try and push for a move to either Chelsea or Manchester United. Remains to be seen if any of those clubs are going to come in for him. Of course, Manchester United have signed Joshua Zirkzee, so that's a less likely move. But we do know Chelsea still want a striker. Chelsea have signed who's that guy Chelsea have signed? I can't remember. Odemian or something like that. Chelsea have just signed a striker. Is he a striker or a player? I don't know. Or a player. Midfielder, sorry. I can't remember. But do comment down below and let me know if you know. Hermoso is a decent defender. Since 2015, he kind of off, but still a decent player. Okay, so he hasn't been the greatest over the past couple of years, but still a good player. I mean, he's a free player for Manchester United. That's what they're looking to do. Then you've got Tottenham have agreed to pay Bournemouth 57 million for Dominic Solanke with 30 million upfront plus 3 million in add-ons. So that's interesting. That's what's being published this morning. Pochettino is one of the main targets to become the coach of the United States, according to the Athletic. What's this talking about? Who will win the Premier League Golden Boot this season? Looking at those strikers, I'll probably go with either Haaland or Ollie Watkins. I just don't think one of our strikers. I know that's, do you know what I mean? But I don't think any of our strikers are going to win a Golden Boot. Ollie Watkins or Haaland, in my opinion. Emerson Royale to AC Milan. Here we go. Wow. It's fraud. What was his dance? What was his dance? Like some fucking dumb dance that he had. Good riddance. Aston Villa have made a £32 million bid for João Felix. Aston Villa ain't ramped in. Aston Villa want to win the Premier League this season. They want to definitely certify Champions League next season. So, you know, they're going for major competitions. You know, João Felix shows you their ambition. It shows you their ambition. But here we are. Todibo confirms joining West Ham. Total agreement in place. Only £14 million, you know, or 40 million euros, which works out to be about £35 million. João Felix is a scrub. Everyone's, you know, can have their opinion. But I think João Felix is a good player. I think within the right system, with the right players around him, with the right manager, João Felix cooks. And I think, you know, Aston Villa, they could have got themselves a gem. Guy's only about 24, 25, bro. He's still young, you know what I mean? It's not like he's 28, 29. João Felix is a very, very good player, man. Let's not discredit him. Wax Villa, wow, Villa is not sitting around. Trust me, big up my guy, Southern Gooner in the building. Yep, they're not playing, man. Chicken Royale gone again. He was dead anyway, man. I don't know what made Tottenham sign him. He was absolutely terrible. Caught on defense, caught on attack. He was just dead. Absolutely dead. I don't know what he was doing at Barcelona. But that's where they signed him from. Again, I think Barcelona and other teams, they look at players as ROIs. They look at players like, all right, cool, I'll sign you for 5 million because I know in the next year or 2 years, I'll sell you for about 17 million. That's how teams look at players. And this is the reason why I tell you, Edu, they need to start looking at players like that as well, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we're looking at them to improve our squad, but we also need to look at them financially as a way of generating an ROI at the end of it. You're not letting them run their contracts down or selling them for a lot less. Wax, where have you been? I've been on Wax Unfiltered, bro. You have to go over there if you want to see me on a daily, blood. I'll tell you, go over there, subscribe to that channel. We're still here. Don't worry, man. We're still here. I've had a lot of things on my plate, to be quite fair. So, trying to juggle that. But we're back, man. We're back. All right, last little bit here. What else we got going on? Todibo, Atalanta have signed this guy. I'm not too sure who he is. Wan-Bissaka's asking price of 7 million payoff to leave Manchester United this summer, as he can leave on a free in 2025. So he's basically trying to give them an ultimatum: give me 7 million and I'll leave, or if not, I'll just leave on free. Interest from Saudi Arabia in Casemiro has called, so it looks like Casemiro will be staying at Manchester United. Conor Gallagher's value increase over the last couple of years, and Jonathan Tah also going to be staying at Bayern Leverkusen. And it brings us back to this one. Arsenal continue to work on a deal to sign Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad over a 25 million move. Personal terms already agreed. All right, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you ever so much for checking us out today. We are going to be back again tomorrow. I will do another stream tomorrow, I promise you. We might be a little bit earlier, so do turn your notification bells on, but I will do one. Make sure we are hitting up the likes on our way out of here. Who we got in the building? Let me just give a few shout outs before I disappear. Don't know what's happening here. Please stop. Big up Alex, big up Colo, big up my guy Mad Miaz, big up Vinny, big up Peppermint, big up Mish, big up Paul, big up Naga, big up Simon, big up Tobias, big up the Southern Gooner, big up DWTT. Good to see you in here, DW. Good to see you in here, my brother. Big up Mr. Robbo. Big up everyone I can see. My guy Gumsy Gums, aka Ro. Much appreciate you each and every time, my brother. Come on. Big up all the real ones in the building. Make sure we are hitting up the likes before we leave. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the Wax Unfiltered channel as well. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Peace.